Hello and welcome to the last video in a series of videos on the research methods proposal document. And what we're doing now, this is called the proposal. We're bringing it all together. We're looking at all of the assignments that you have done so far, with the exception of the first one, the infographic that you did on the source article is not counted in this, although be prepared to do a infographic on your project when you complete it. So we're going to be looking at assignments 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 combining to create this one single document. So what you're going to be doing is mostly copy and paste. You have successfully completed all those other assignments. You're going to now just put them in order into your document. What you are going to do this time is you're going to be taking out, there are a few of those items, a few of those assignments where I have you reintroduce your research question each time. That's just a good practice, so you're getting your head around that. We're going to be taking that out this time because you will have already introduced it. So this should be a fairly straightforward assignment. I'm going to be looking for you to consolidate all of these pieces together, put them in order, put all of your references, all of your appendices, all into one document like I'm going to show you here. Fixing as much of that as you can, reading through the whole thing, getting a sense of what you're going to be doing, and how that flows from one section to the other. I'm going to be doing, at this point in the semester, I'm simply looking for that consolidated document. Because we're at the 11th hour, I'm going to reserve the deep dive into the formatting, the APA formatting, and all that until the beginning of next semester. So pay attention to the formatting. It can't be too off. If it's really off, I'm going to have you do some corrections, but I'm going to really get into that at the beginning of the semester with statistics. That's going to coincide with our planning process at the beginning of next semester as to when you're actually going to implement. By the way, I know you guys are working hard. It's coming in, and I am really looking forward to next semester. This is going to be, I know it's hard. I know you're putting these things, you've been working hard to get these assignments in. I haven't always been 100% getting feedback to you, but boy, they're coming around, and I am really looking forward to this coming semester. I hope you are too. So let's take a look at what I did, the example document that I have. This is a study I will be conducting. I'm putting myself through this process too. So next semester, I will be conducting this study at the mixed in with the rest of you conducting your studies. So I'm going to practice what I preach here. So let's take a look at my document that I posted here. You'll see that um, and I've made some APA changes here. Uh, it's called research proposal. I've changed the running header to proposal, and I actually added the page numbers. Those weren't in any of my previous documents, so I did add that. Obviously, today's date. We come down, and right here at the beginning, what you're going to do is you're going to include the title for your introduction and just TBA. That is going to be something we're going to look at when you are planning your study next semester. Whereas you're going to introduce a general sense of this topic and then narrow it down to what you're interested in doing. I'm reserving that conversation for after we have the methods down. So that will be an introduction to the study, and then the next step is going into the literature review. And all I did was copied it right from the literature review assignment. Went down, here's the literature review, came down to defining variables here. I copied this right word for word defining variables here. I also included an appendix now for those images. I will show you that in just a minute. I then put the hypothesis here, just a brief identification of the two independent variables, and then the two hypotheses that I have. I have H1, the experimental hypothesis, and H1O, which is the null hypothesis. I have two of those. The methods, again, specifically copied, but you'll notice that in the hypothesis and the methods, in the original assignment, I had you repeat that part about what is the study going to be doing. Take that out and just put the methods part. You'll see that these are very short, succinct, to the point. Don't try to sound anything but like yourself. This is exactly how I write. This is exactly how I wrote my dissertation. Simple language, get to the point. The point, really, is for you to deeply understand what you're doing. If you're just borrowing terms, this applies to the whole process, but if you're just borrowing terms from your source article, but you don't really understand them, you're not going to be able to understand how to do this study. So the important thing is to talk with natural language. Now that if you need to make some adjustments to that, make them now, and we move forward. So I have my hypothesis, I have the methods, I get into sampling. Again, that introduction is out, and I refer to now Appendix B. These have been moving around because I used to be Appendix A, but now my images are Appendix A. Appendix B is my sampling, and then Appendix C, which I don't refer in here, is actually the consent. So I get to the end of my document, 4 pages long, really not that too intense here. Get down into my references. Remember, that's not bold, it's centered. We have the hanging indent where the first line is way over here, second line is indented. You'll notice that there are no links. No links. I know that some people like to put the DOI codes. I think it looks stupid. I look in journal articles, I don't see them in there. I just don't think we should include them. There should be no websites in here. It should be just text, no underlined blue text, just something to think about. We'll definitively address that when we're in the next semester. But you have your references here, no extra spaces in between here. It shows that the link space between here and here is the same as the space between here and here. This is not a line spacing issue. It's a setting within your word processor that adds extra space when you create a new paragraph. You have to look for that setting. Your line spacing might be double, might be 2, and then you're like, why is it doing this? Because there's another setting for spaces between paragraphs. Some of you still have your whole paper with extra spaces between paragraphs, and we'll have to address that. We start going into my appendix. Appendix A, I've collected all the pictures that I'm going to use and put them in a table here. As you know, I'm going to be looking at space and clutter. And so the increased size of space is along my vertical axis and increased clutter along the horizontal axis. So here's the smallest space with the least clutter, and here's the largest space with the most clutter going across all these. So that's going to be what my study. My Appendix B is my invitation to participate in the study. I just copied that in there. And then my Appendix C is consent to participate. I just copied that in there. And that is the end of this. I want you to approach simplicity. It is vital that you collect all this information, that you have a section for each one of these. This should be the easiest paper in the sequence, because you just went through all the hell of me putting you through those first 7. take all that copied in. You're taking out those little introductions that were in each one of those papers, reading through it to make sure it has a cohesive feel. If you don't understand something that you wrote clearly enough that you could answer a question on it, you might want to reword that, or at least note to yourself that you're going to have to get your head wrapped around that, whether it's a method or the use of a tool or something like. I mean, I've been looking up some of the instruments that some of you are going to be using, and it's awesome. It's awesome, awesome. Some of you have reached out to researchers out there and have got response to use their tools. Some of you are going to have to continue. We're going to have to look at buying licenses. I will be able to help with that. We're going to be I'm looking at another tool today. I'm not sure if it's available for public use, but we're going to get in touch with Harvard University and see if we can use it. And this is the whole fun of it, is that you're doing real stuff. And so I am super excited. Right here at the end of the semester, that's probably the most tired I get in a year, and I am totally pumped up about these research projects. We'll get through this, I promise. So this is the last of the series of videos. Very much looking forward to next semester. The way I've talked about this particular experience, I've sort of made this video very specific to this semester. They're no longer generic, but that's what we have. This is how you put your proposal together. Get this done. I will be grading these very lax to get us through the end of this semester quickly. And then when we return in the spring, the first assignment is resubmitting this to the class. I'll be doing a whole video about APA, going through my own document, identifying all the APA elements, and you're going to revise your proposal right at the beginning of class. So if you're looking for something to do over the Christmas break besides open presents and ring in the new year, then I suggest you look up your APA stuff and make sure everything is perfect. Because then all we're going to be doing is adding to the methods section your analysis, and then we're going to be conducting the study, and you're going to add results and discussion. That's it. And this whole thing will be done. So, good luck with that. Thanks for your patience in me getting this out to you, and I look forward to seeing your proposal.